Hello guys, welcome back on my YouTube channel. I'm back again with another video. So I'm just gonna talk about, let me close the freaking window. So I'm back again with another video guys. Thank you for liking, for subscribing on my YouTube channel, as well as watching my content. So I'm just gonna talk about God. I think this is one of the things that I feel like I wanted to share my perspective around it, because there's so much information about God. There's so much information, some information that are false, and some people trade that, especially if they don't have faith in whatsoever, in the fact that God exists. So they ended up having distorted distorted perspective around the topic God. And like when I'm talking about God, I'm not like I'm including in a way that you believe in. For example, some people prefer the word universe, some people prefer calling it spirit, some people prefer it to call it high power, the Lord, the Most High, the higher self. Like there's so fucking many ways, because at the end of the day, when for me personally, I prefer, like when I'm talking about a higher self, I'm talking about the version of myself that is more evolved than the version that I actually exist, the version of myself that is actually waiting for me to be that version of myself. So like that different kind of perspective. And the reason why I'm actually making this video is because like I believe like a lot of people, they need like a fucking restoration of the fact that God exists, because he fucking exists. But okay, I wrote this shit down because I know myself. I tend to have this conservation, and they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna remember, and the next thing I don't fucking remember. So I'm just gonna talk like people believe that God, the way you have supposed to be connect with God, like God doesn't give, like he doesn't give a fuck whether how you actually communicate with him, as long as you are your authentic self, as long as it feels right from your heart, like it's make you to be at peace. You feel at peace whenever you are actually talking about it, and how you actually connect, because other people prefer to worship their ancestors, which is okay, because I fucking with my ancestors too. I'm God, like I'm all about God, I'm all about my ancestors. Some people worship nature as their god, and I fucking fuck with that too. So like other people, they need to like to connect with a religion, because at the end of the day, not every, like a religion is not for everybody. Like let's just be honest, a religion is not for everybody, and I'm one of those people who is not for me. Like religion is not for me. I don't have a problem with that. Like I prefer to connect with God in a way that makes sense to me, because like religion doesn't make me authentic. I don't feel authentic with the religious way or any kind of religion or whatsoever. But if one day, like, because like God used me a lot, so when like out of the blue he sent me to just go to a fucking church to do whatever in a service, to be part of it, whatever, I will have to obey. But it would be one of the scariest thing I ever done, because like I think most of the my it would be like I've kissed a lot. Like I fucking kiss a lot, and not only that, I just like the outfit, like I will have to struggle with the fucking outfit. But like it's a blend of thing that I will have to worry about. But if it one day to happen, because at the end of the day, I'm just a fucking messenger, I'm a God message servant. So I know that he sent his children to do whatever work that he want them to do, and that shit is fucking okay. So the thing is, like, I was so fucking excited this morning, and I was actually watching something. I was actually watching one of things that I watch when I just wanna relax. So like I got this download, about the fact that, like, for example, like God to me, like, he showed up in my life when I was way young. And a lot of us, even if we don't know that is actually God, because not all of us grow up in a family that actually nurture the in an authentic way, nurture us in a loving way, with love, with care. Some of us were being nurtured in a way that it's not healthy. For example, for me, I grew up with a parent who believed that they are God, and they were trying by all means to make me pay focus on them, to not be myself, not to pay so much attention to the fact that God exists. They want me out of the way. They would want me to not believe, to not have faith that God exists. They want it, oh, but they will act like they, whenever they are around people, they're like, God is God. God. Like, they always use those kind of words, but I just knew that they're just faking it because they know they don't want to be judged and whatsoever. So they wanted me to view them as God, like, blah, 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 you know what fucking sister, like. So since you were young, you were so fucking connected with God. Even those people who ended up selling their soul to devil, it's just that they were weak. Like, people who sell their soul are weak people. They're fucking weak. You're so fucking weak, and they will try by all means to recruit you to that shit because they can tell they're fucking weak. Their spirit is weak. So whatever they wanna do, they want other people to be around. That's why whenever you're coming across people who sell their soul, they have to do things in a group. They don't do things individual because God wants individuality. He wants you, your authentic self. He wants you to devote himself to you, devote yourself to him, to be obedient. When I'm talking about obedient, I'm not talking about the kind of obedient that it's surfacing everywhere, whereby people are being told to not be themselves just because you now got, like, you know, you're not talking to yourself, or you're trying to wear things in a way that God, that you please God. Like, you, God doesn't give a fuck who you are, how you wear yourself, what do you have. Like, it doesn't give a fuck, like, at all. Like, how you communicate with him, it doesn't give a fuck. You don't have to use your knees to kneel and talk to him. Like, for example, sometimes I talk to him through book. Like, I write down, like, I journal my shit, like I would just write, like, as long as I feel like it's authentic to me. Sometimes I just like talk like he's around. Like, sometimes I would even make like his. Most of the time, if there is here, I'm talking is with you guys. I know he's here, but it's like sometimes you, like, you, when you're walking, like, maybe probably in my room, and then you're passing by, you, or maybe you're passing by my room, you'll be like, oh, she's talking to you. That's how I fuck with God, like how I fuck with my ancestors. I just, like, that how I am. That how I choose to communicate with him. I don't have to kneel, I don't have to do whatever, but other people, it makes sense to them. So it like, that how you communicate, it go for it. So when I'm talking about obedient, it doesn't want you to be his fucking slave. He, like, as much as you his soldier, I just, like, lately I'm just like, I'm fuck with, like, I'm gold soldier, like, I'm God, I'm just a soldier, like, God, I'm, you know. So it doesn't, like, you, like, there's obedient people, like, you need to just strip yourself whatsoever. Like, no, you just have to be your authentic self in a way, as long as it's authentic, as long as it's you maneuver life in a way that makes sense to you, and that's it. So people assume that being obedient, that means, but obviously initially you just wanna be like, who is controlling me? Like, obvious, when you are having like a huge ego initially, you're like, how is controlling me? Now I have to stop alcohol, now I have to do this, now like, like, you'll be so fucking scared of the new changes. Not that you don't want to be obedient, trust me, you want to, you just want to surrender, you just want to be that child that you know you can be. So it's just that your ego is too much. You were like, like, nah, like, I will have to stop. I have to stop. Like, as if your friend give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck. I know that they're good friends too, but I'm just talking about you who still wanna please your friend more than anything, instead of taking care of yourself and understand that you are not here. Like, you know, like, my heart aches whenever I coming across women who are doing this body what, like, the way it's so much, like, you know what, I realized, like, every time things are too much, like, everyone is doing it, I tend to have a wet feeling about it? Because eventually, like a lot of people now are doing this body strap. We're trying to make the body to BBL, is it BBL, whatever. So they're trying to make the ass big, hips and like figure to be small, waist to be small, and whatever. And I'm like, so next, if like in the next 2 years, if something trending like, oh, having a small ass, now you're just gonna go back and do that too. Like, you're a fucking slave to your own insecurities. You're a fucking slave to the fucking trend. Because the thing is, a lot of a beauty, whatever industry, whatever industry, even entertainment industry, they will always try to strip you out of who you are, try to strip you out your authentic self, because God wants us to be our authentic self. That's why He made us to be different. That's why He made us to look different. That's why He made you to have that big nose that you hate. That's why He made you have that big boobs that you fucking hate. That's why He made you be so short, even if you never wanted to be short. Like, he knew what you wanted. He knew that you needed that body more than anything, unless like you feel like, oh, because the gym can help you to get the body that you want. But like, it had me like, I just felt like, because it's a waste of your time. Like, you're gonna die when what? I came on earth, and then I aborted my mission because I saw other people doing S. Now I wanted to do something that is trending so that I can be popular. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, being popular don't fucking matter. It doesn't matter, like, at all. Yes, you know what, when you are meant to be popular, when you are meant to be known by people, it will happen naturally. You don't have to be not yourself. You don't have to be fake it. You don't have to be something that you are not. You don't have to try to have a persona like who. You don't have to steal identity. You don't have to do any shit to be the same a motherfucker that you feel like is popping, because you can pop with the authentic self. Because people are like, wow, she owned it. Like, she fucking owned it. Because you fucking own it. Like, when you're trying to be someone else, like, what the fuck? Like, one, like, it's so weird. Like, yo, guys. So there's a thing that I actually came across with one of, like, I think Empress Lillian. Like, one of the comment that I saw, I think it was a Gemini or whatever read, but it will like, the thing she post a lot. So she mentions thing that you earn your crown, and then there's someone else who commented that we are born with our own crown. True. We are fucking born without, like, God, when He created us, He gave us everything. It's just that as we grow, we tend to, in our process of growing up, we tend to find ourselves in a way, in a position where we don't believe in God anymore. So we tend to let go of our own crown without even realizing that, wow, I just let go of my own crown, just like that. You don't even realize until later on. You're like, fuck, I gave my own power away like that, you know. So we like, eventually, like, for example, I never knew how God speak to me. Like when I say how He speak, His tone, His voice, I don't know Him, I never met Him, but I know His voice, and I knew it's Him. So, but I have to end that. I have to go back and dig and understand who the fuck I am, why the knowledge of self is disappearing within me, and why I had to go back and find it. Because the thing is, I had to be drowned. I'm constantly being drowned spiritually, because I go like, they like, we have ranks spiritually too. For example, like, when I was dealing with a lot of things that has to do with family, my blood family, my blood ancestors in this lifetime, because I'm a black now in this lifetime, and my ancestors were dealing with that shit. But after some time, I had to realize that I don't have only black ancestors. My ancestors from my, especially like my mother's side, because I don't fucking know my father's side, and I was never introduced any like an ancestor, so I don't fucking know that side. So most of the time, people, whenever they pick up on my age, will always talk about my ancestor from my mother's side, and I was like, yeah. I didn't realize she's still part of my they're still part of me. They still guide me, whatever. But God, like, He put people in a specific like rank. Whenever you finally like slay something, maybe you slay fucking demons that were trying by all means to not you see you rise from to another level, and then you're gonna meet another ancestors. Don't get me wrong, even it's just that you probably were programmed to believe the ancestors are only like the ancestors that we were born in, but nah, there are plenty of fucking ancestors. God, like even like Jesus, you can call him on Jesus, you can call on Mother, the goddess, Mother Earth. You can call anyone that actually existed before. Like there was even a time that I was actually to call to channel Bang on. Is it Key? Oh fuck, Bang on. Is it? I don't know where did I ever write his name somewhere. But he was a ruler back in the days in Korean. I had to call him for something that I had to deal with. Yi Bangwon. I have like it was around the time I think 13th century. So I had to call him for a specific mission because like God will make you, as I said, I'm not religious, so he used me, other people that I have to come across. He used me because I have a Korean ancestors. I have like plenty of ancestors. You know, it's not only black. My so far that I know that are actually white are from England. So like the way constantly like having a group of them that the more you acknowledge them, some of them they will make sure that you acknowledge them. Sometimes you won't even realize everywhere you go, like Indian, like you dream of India, like you be like, what the fuck? Like what the fuck is going on? Because you don't understand. Like they were trying to make you to see, recognize we are you, we are you. We like they were tribal omens. It's not just that. So God used any way to make you understand, to communicate with him. So when we were young we had our own crown, but eventually because of growing up we tend to, because we felt like God was actually letting us down every time, he disappointed us because there were things that we wanted so badly. It can be something that has nothing to do with materialistic, it can be anything that has to do with love, the relationship. So I know like I've never like pray for my ex to treat me better. Like that was one of the things that it was supposed to be a fucking red flag, but there are plenty of red flags though. But I'm just like I've never prayed to God to help my relationship with any of my ex. A lot of people do done that, and I knew that they done that because they what they wanted. But for me, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel right with my soul. But the only time that I pray for a relationship to get better with my mother because it was going from west to fucking west. Like I couldn't understand what I'm going. So I like there was a time where like I gave up on God because I didn't understand why I always have to be the target, why I always have to be the bully. Even though I gave up, I knew that like my faith, because I like was huge since I was young. So eventually, because of the things that are happening actually in our planet, we tend to have low vibration energy that we adapt on because we ended up more in our surviving spirit rather than us living. We tend to, whenever you are surviving, you're gonna be put in a position whereby you're gonna stop trying to survive and understand that you need to live too. There's nothing wrong with surviving, but surviving it comes with a lot of low vibrational energy. It comes with a lot of scarcity mindset. Like you view things from a scarcity mindset, and you view because you're so used to surviving, you're so used to suppressing your emotion, you're so used to suppressing your authentic self. So surviving doesn't promote that. It doesn't promote your authentic self. Doesn't promote the relationship you have with God. It doesn't promote nurturing it. So we tend to have, we're gonna go through a journey, we have to own our own crown. And then when by you're introduced to your ancestors, introduce your angel that actually guiding you. But you have to be clean. These people are fucking pure. You that's why they say you earn your own crown. You fucking do. You're gonna be, yes, we're born with it, but sometimes we tend to abandon that, like tend to throw it out like doesn't matter. We tend to find ourselves in a position where we find ourselves with things that don't fucking matter. Like they when you are just, let's say for example, right now I experienced flood, everything will be washed up. Maybe I'll be the only one to survive. Even my phone won't even fucking survive. Even my bed, everything won't fucking survive. I'll be in a shit situation, and it won't matter. That's when I will realize, fuck this shit. It won't matter. But I don't have to realize that in a hard way. You can realize that in early in life, like fuck this shit doesn't matter, and that's what God wants. Want us to understand, to be fucking detached to a lot of things. That's how we have to earn our own crown by realizing that spiritual It's okay to balance spiritual ways as well as being spiritual as well as earthly things, because at the end of the day, he wants us to be. That's why he gave us a journey to be on earth, to be on earth, because he knew that we're gonna need, but we sometimes suppress the spiritual side more. And sometimes we just need you to have be 60% spiritual and 40% earthly. Or sometimes you're gonna find yourself in a position where you have to be more earthly than spiritual, because it's all about balance, you know. The thing is, what I've noticed, a lot of people, why they tend to not believe in God, like if you ever experience a narcissist in your life, in terms of like maybe like if they were your parent, you tend to have a distorted perspective around the fact that God, like, ugh, because your parent like, ugh, like, ugh, like, you know, it just give you like the trip energy, like, oh, my parents were nasty. Ugh. They used to say God, like, you know, you're gonna have that. Like a lot of people I came across that are actually honest. It's people who are being fucked up by people who use the word God so easily. Jesus, oh, to use you, to manipulate you, to do some shit things to you, and then we ended up having this distorted perspective like God exists. Oh, ancestor, like I fuck it. Like when I come across and honest, I remember the guy that actually met when he said that he doesn't believe in God, and I was like, he came across as like he's God himself. I'm like, it's okay to believe we are God. It's okay to believe we are God because you are not powerful than God. You are His mirror. So as you are His mirror, you don't have power as you think. You might have a power, but you don't have the power as you think. At the end of the day, you need to surrender, and you need to just surrender your soul and understand, okay, I don't have control over everything. I have control. I can control this. I can control what I eat. I can control this, blah, blah, blah. But eventually, there are things that you can't control. You just have to understand the spiritual laws. People don't understand the spiritual laws, how it works. But I think, like, if I can talk about that, it can be like a lot. Like it can make me even get tired. But I have to mention, like, God does exist. But in order for you to hear Him, you have to be moving in your authentic self, in your spirit, whereby you are ready to be obedient. Because eventually, you're gonna be ready. When you are ready to be a student, a teacher will appear. So don't assume that God gonna appear. No, it God not gonna. Like it won't even appear when you are even in club. Like he will appear in terms of like, get the fuck out of the club. It's dangerous. Your friends are trying to human trafficking, or your friends want to spark a drink so that you can get raped. Or maybe he won't tell you like that. Maybe he'll like, get the fuck out of here. Later on, you find like ended up everything that makes sense. Wow, that's why I had that gut feeling. And because my friend was setting me up, or like, oh, you know, because things like that can happen. Like that's when it talked to you. Even your ancestors can come like come at you like that. For me, I had to hear God mostly through my dreams, and I didn't know that because Satan is a fucking copy. He's a copycat of God. He would try to manipulate your dreams to believe that, oh, you'll be like, no. The thing is with a copycat, it's not authentic. Everything when it comes with Lucifer, it's not authentic. It's not authentic at all. He wouldn't want you to be authentic. He wouldn't want you. He will try to charm you with a material position only. That's what he does. Like he will try to make you understand that you're gonna have a lot of things, not blah 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 blah. And yes, it does. It make it fast for you. Have you ever wondered why most celebrities who actually sold their soul, why their shit come first? You'll be like, how? She's 16. How come your life just bro? It's because they made a devil make things so fucking fast. That's why whenever you are actually finally letting go of being a devil worshipper, you lose everything. But God will try to create a foundation with you. It will make sure that are you really dedicated to me? He will put you through fucking tests to see your faith. Are you faithful to me? Are you faithful to the fact? Do you trust me that I can take you where you are, where you at to where I want you to be at? Do you fucking trust me? So he will put you through that because he's high vibrationally. He will want you to be high vibrationally because he knew you can do better than the version of yourself that you are actually maneuver in. He knew that you can be better than that. He knew that you are limiting yourself. He knew that you are just like, he hate you. Like, God hates you. He hate to bring fear. He hate when you have fear. He fucking hate it, because whenever, like, everything that I used to be fear of, they happen in my life. Everything that I was scared of losing, lost it. I lose it all. And I knew that, fuck, I'm fucked. Every time when I out of the blue, I found myself being scared of something, he'd be like, let me see. For example, like, um it can be like, maybe like you went spend a lot of shit, you experience a lot of shit people to, whereby you be like, I'm so done with humans, I'm so done with this and this, I'm so done, so I'm not gonna open your heart. Like, he will test you like that, and then you ended up opening your heart, and you be like, you know what, trust me, when you have a good relationship with yourself, letting go of people is easy. It's so fucking easy. It's gonna hurt, but it's so fucking easy. It won't take you years like he used to. Instead, you'll be like, wow, like, God is so fucking smart, guys. Like, that man is so fucking smart. That's why they will never figure you out. Like, when you're walking with God, when you walk in your authentic self, when you're truthfully, when you're a genuine person, because God loves genuine. He loves people like fucking genuine. He doesn't care how you speak to him, or you curse a lot, you this, you this. Because I did ask that. Because I'm like, God, I don't think I'm just, I'm the best soldier. Like, I curse, I curse a lot. Like, how can I just deliver this message without, because other people, whenever you're around people who have problem with people who cares a lot, you feel judged. They don't have to say anything, you feel so fucking judged. Eventually I ended up avoiding people who make me feel bad about being myself. Nah, I ain't fucking with those men. I ain't going to that gathering. I ain't doing that. She invited me. I'm like, nah, I need to just block this motherfucker. I need to, because eventually you don't want to be around people who feel like they don't have to say it, because I'm spiritual. So I can feel when people are giving me word energy, and like, you don't have like say it. I just knew. So that's why narcissists were so fucking obsessed with making you a slave, because they knew they were slave of their material life. They were slave to things that don't fucking matter. They are slave to wanting to look the best, physically, best financially, best whatever. That's why they were trying, but they knew they were fucking slave. They knew that they don't have a faith that you have. They knew that they're just dickhead. They knew they're fucking assholes. They knew that they're dumb head. They were so fucking dumb. They knew that their brain is a five, even a 5-year-old brain is better, like a 3-year-old brain. They knew that. That's why they always trying to make you turn you to a slave, because they knew that they're a fucking slave. They knew they're fucking slave to their ego. Knew they're fucking slave to whatever life they are putting yourself them into. That's why they're trying almost to make you believe that they are God. They will make you feel like they are God. You're supposed to pay attention to them more than anything. The other things don't fucking matter. So God is so fucking mad. Like, that's why God, like, that's why whenever you're fucking with God, anyone who's trying to get you, anyone who's trying to put you in a position that is awful, or anyone who's trying to kill you or anything like that, I know that eventually we're gonna die. But I'm just talking about people who are trying to do that when it's not yet your time. Like, he was like, the thing is, when you are, God wants you to be open. When I say open, he wants you to have a clean heart. He wants you to have an open heart, so that he will be able to communicate. Because there's no way you can understand God when your heart is closed. There's no fucking way. You can try, but there's no fucking, because you're a slave to your past. You are a slave to your how people treated you, to the point that you don't understand that you don't need to close your heart anymore. You don't need to hold the fact that they hate me, they hate me, they hate, look what they did, what they did that to do it, so that I'm just not gonna close my, I'm gonna close my eyes. I don't need motherfuckers anymore. Well, I don't fucking need those motherfuckers. I'm done with humans. Like, it will be tough for you to for you to understand it, because God will communicate in it. Yo, like, he's so fucking smart. The thing is, he knew that devil actually, like, for example, he knew that I can communicate with you through dreams. I can communicate with you while you are in a room alone. He knew that I can communicate with you when you're around nature. I can communicate with you using other people to give you information. I can communicate you through books. I can communicate with you through the action that you see outside. Probably you see someone doing something and they be like feeling inspired, and then it finally like makes sense. He knew that. So Satan is, do you know when someone's trying to study you, to copy your voice, to copy how you speak, to copy your swag, to copy your style, to copy whatever? Because I had people copying my voice, and it's so fucking weird. Ooh. So fucking weird. Like people try to copy other people's voice. It's so fucking weird. Like, oh, they like, you know what? Because he's so fucking smart. Like he's so fucking, my god, he's so fucking smart. He'll be like, okay, you finally understand when I'm communicating with you through dreams. Let me just say. He'll be quiet, and they'll be like, ah, why my dreams are so quiet? Why I don't dream anymore? Why this isn't this and doesn't happen? And then when he was communicating with through dreams and he was quiet, for a reason. And then you ended up experiencing dreams with Satan, and then with the devil, the Lucifer, what he will do, because he was trying to practice to be exactly like, because he would try to come exactly as God, and then because he's a copycat, like he's a fucking copycat, he would be like, he would try to get you to be on his team, and then he would fail dismal because he's not God. He would like, and he'll be like, nah, you will know, like, nah, God will never speak to me like that. And then you'll be like, fuck you, like it will be so fucking weird. But like, because no, God knows that I can communicate you in any way. I can communicate you through birds because I can study bird now. I can understand the bird's language. I obviously like, no, not that, but I understand when the birds are doing this, when why this bird, like I don't know all birds, but I can communicate with them now. It used to be trees, but now it's more than that. I'm opening my heart. As I'm opening my heart, I tend to be, God used another way to communicate me so that I can understand him, what exactly want me to do. But mostly he just know that my dreams are everything. That's why I said pay attention what I show you when you sleep. So he's like, they will never figure out. Like they will try to copy you, and then you know what? I realized something. Like every time, whenever I was worried about the fact that people will try to come in at me because they knew who I am, they were studying me, and then out of the blue now they will literally fall off. And then what I got, the download I got, that version of myself died. That version of myself that I was around those people died. And I was like, who I am I? Because that's what it does. Like he will want you to, those motherfuckers who trying for all means to be in your life, to be you, to copy your personality, to copy your whatever gift that you have. He will make them believe that they can have that, and then out of the blue, that version of yourself die. You come off so fucking humble in a way that even though that version of yourself died, have was so fucking humble, was so undertake whatsoever, but another version of yourself, it will give you like peace. Peace. That man is so fucking smart. He know that whenever he's putting someone in your life, whether the person is a test or whatever, he just knew they will never feel like I'm at peace. Whenever I find myself, oh fuck, I shouldn't have opened up. I just shouldn't have told someone these things about my life. And then you'll be like, they don't fucking resonate with you anymore. That things they don't have power. They're like, that man is so fucking smart. So once you open your heart, once you allow yourself to heal, once you be becoming obedient, you need to understand that you don't need to do everything. Yes, he will tell you to do this, do that. He will give you ways to live. He will show you where you should go, which country you should reside in, which city, whatsoever. Like he will tell you everything, or maybe which city you should travel into. Like he will tell you which city, like he will tell you everything, where should you go, or everything. Like he will do all that for you, but you need to have open to, you need to understand that you just have to ask. Like this is something that I sometimes I struggle with. because I'm so used to be in controlling and shit. And then I'm like, I am making this my journey so fucking hard. Like I can ask, even if it tell me like maybe like a week later or maybe tomorrow, maybe, because I have to be detached to the outcome when he will tell me. Like I have to be fucking detached to when he will tell me that you should do this now, or the question that you had, I'm answering you now. No, you have to be detached on how he's gonna communicate with you. You have to be detached on when the when it's all gonna happen, when the message is gonna happen. You just have to be fucking detached in order for you to understand. That's why you want you to have an open heart, because the fact that you detached, he know that you trust him, you know that you're faithful to him. So people like, well, I'm slave, like, oh, because I'm a church goer, now I need to wear like this. Oh, because I'm a church goer, I'm not supposed to wear trousers. Oh, because I'm a church goer, I'm not supposed to wear like, yeah, because I'm a church goer, I'm not supposed to blah 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 blah. If it's that's what you want, then it's authentic to you, then it's fine. It's so fucking fine, because what people that is so in a spiritual realm that are sent by God to assist me, they wear different clothes. Like for example, the black people were wearing leather. That I know leather is fucking divine. Leather is so fucking divine. That's why our old ancestors, they used to wear animal skin. Leather is so fucking divine. And then the other one were wearing something like the white woman, they were wearing something looking like a sheep skin. Sheep, like a sheep, it has like a wool, like wool is divine too. Like it has wool in it, and they were wearing something like a skin bra as well as mini skirt. And then the other one they were wearing those things that Pakistan people wear or Muslim wear, not the head. I don't know what is it. Is it a gown? What where it's like, you know, those the Asian gown, especially Korean traditional. Whenever if you ever watch a traditional old traditional Korean movie, they usually have this gown that they wear, especially if you are living in a palace. But I know that the design they have, it has to do with your ranking, but that how but for me it was like a black, he was wearing like a black thing that is actually long, like Pakistan wear. So like it doesn't care like what you're wearing, like it doesn't give a fuck. It doesn't care how you speak, it doesn't care whatsoever, as long as it's authentic to you, as long as it's not abuse, as long as it's not harming anyone, as long as you are not a shit person. It's not, you're not long as an asshole. That's why there are people who will make sense to you in your life in the future, whether now or anytime. So God doesn't like. So don't put yourself in a slave mentality to believe the only time that you have to be God's child, you need to be a slave. He doesn't want a slave in you. It's just that you have to be open. Whenever one day wake you up at 3, you should wake up at 3, because the thing is there's something happening at 3. For example, I tend to wake up a lot of 3, so I just make it like, you know, I just make it peace. But sometimes I have to sleep, so I just have to normalize the fact that I will sleep like maybe like 2 hours or 3 hours during the day. I have to normalize that as a fucking routine, because the thing is, I used to do that even if I was not awake. It's just that sometimes I used to beat myself around it, like maybe if I didn't sleep, you know. But I just realized like it's a fucking routine to sleep during the day. It's a must. If you are a godchild, it's a must. How do you know that it's a must? You will know. You won't do any. You won't even feel energized to do anything. The thing will make sense. Just go to sleep. And yeah, it makes sense. Like I've realized that like sleeping during the day, whether it's an hour or 2 hours nap, I don't know. So it will happen. So like there are plenty of things that will happen whenever you're around understand God. People wanna make like God doesn't exist. Those people, don't listen to them. They're hating. People are hating. They tend to have a lot of things to say with their mouth, and sometimes like one day, do you remember you saying that? Like, because eventually they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're saying. Some of them, they all probably they sold their soul a long time ago. They want you to recruit you to that shit, because people who sold their soul, they don't want to be alone. They're miserable as fuck. They want you to be miserable as them. They fucking hate the fact that you're so childlike. You so innocent. You believe in people. You do this. You have faith. You motivate people. You don't care whether people, whenever they came across you, they ended up being the top dog, because you don't operate from that mindset that whenever I'm nurturing. Because I remember in high school, like in university, I had this girl. So the thing is, I did have money to buy books, but I prioritized, like I felt like books were not important because I knew that I can find book in library. It just that I won't have access to a book, uh, especially like I would, maybe the access I will have it is 2 hours unless I renew it, because like some, like it was a book that was most used, so it definitely it would be scarce to to read or to get. So I knew that. So because I was like, nah, there's no way I can buy a book. So this girl bought books because she hated how it operated. She hated that. I remember there was a time like, can you help me? Like I just wanna see certain pages. I was just wanna take pictures of that book, and she was like, so that you can get, so that you can get more marks than me. We all got money like we all had finding at that time. So like we all got finding for books, for money for books, but you didn't bother buying books whatsoever. And you didn't buy, and then you wanna borrow my book. I was like, I'm not, like, it's just for 5 minutes, not more than that. And it's like, no, I don't want to. And I was like, okay. And like I was not mad because she has a choice to do that. But for me, it was weird because if someone asked for that, I would give them with, like, because it doesn't matter. It's just a fucking book. I don't need like a book to the point that I'm like, people. Obvious, I will have a problem if you borrow it when I'm studying. I will have a problem when I'm using it and whatsoever. But taking a picture while you are around, it's not like can you borrow me book for one day? No, I was not like, it was just something that I needed to take pictures. Because why? The book was actually a book that in library was most used, and they only have like 5 books, so a lot of students were using it at the time. So I was like, I should like, so that you can like, I'm like. And then one day, like, she saw me a lot of time when I'm helping someone. Maybe someone didn't attend lecture, and they were like, she would ask me. Someone asked me like, what was the lecturer doing today? And I'm like telling them information. But like, she was so bothered by the fact that I was doing that, because I was not attached to the fact that they will do better than, because and then at the end of the day, it's your own effort. It's your own effort that will put you in that position. If you want to be better, you with your marks, you just have to put effort and have faith in yourself. She didn't have faith in herself. She didn't have faith in God. She didn't have faith the fact that one day she's gonna need those people, even if you don't need those people anymore. One day, it just like life is weird. When you're not helping people, you're gonna be put in position where you won't even receive help, even if you need it. It may not come from a help. For example, when I help someone, I don't expect anything, but somehow I always get help by different person. And I knew that it's God. I knew that it's energy that I put out there. I knew that I don't need, like, I'm doing this because one day, like, no, I'm not. I'm just doing it because it's genuinely like it's the right thing to do. I just go with it's a right, even if like you can be my fucking enemy. If one day God said go and help that person, I do that. But most of the time they always misread my energy because they ended up believing that I'm on their side. No, I'm in a truth side. I'm in a truth side. I'm in a God side. I'm like, I'm doing this because I knew it's the right thing to do. So they ended up being attached. I'm like, hell no, honey. I'm just being sent to help you out. I'm being sent to assist, and not to be part of your friendship, part of your family anymore. I'm just assisting because God want me to do that. So people who don't have God, they assume everything is about you, how you're coming back to them and make it like, nah. Even sometimes I'm like, but God, why did you send me to that person? Because like, I'm not talking to them anymore. And you'll be like, go and do it. And it'll make sense later. Be like, how it was a test? Because the test will come in different ways, and how God will gonna test his faith, like how important. Because sometimes he would send you to battles with people who using spell work, and you know how awful people use spell work. They will make you sick. And then we have to trust that, you know what, their spell work is not above God. Because eventually I did get side effect because this person was really working with their spell work. I ended up like having a huge thing here, and my pimples were like coming out. Like it was really bad because this person was really working to do some shit work things to do. So his, like, God is so smart, and you will impressed by his smartness. You will laugh like when it finally makes sense, because he would put like pictures like you're filling up the puzzle. You'll be so fucking impressed how smart he is, because it's something that you never thought of, and you'll be like, fuck, this man is so smart. Even our ancestors, because like when I'm talking about this, I include my ancestors too. Narcissists are slaves. That's why they constantly make you a slave. They know that we are born with our own charm. Be Because we're born with our own charm, but we tend to find in a place where you have to earn it, like earn it. We have to earn our own charm at some point in the process of growing up, because things happen that make us lose faith, make us look at life different, make us, because sometimes the things that are happening to you, probably like you ended up selling your vagina to make money, or your dick to make money, because men do sell, they become prostitute too. I think most of the time the reason we operate from that is because we feel like we don't have another option. We lack faith. We lack um knowledge that our situation will be better. So we tend to, you know, we lose ourselves in the process, but it's okay. So guys, bye.